Good evening, and thanks for staying up late with us tonight. I'm Brooke Buckner here with Nick Luttrell and meteorologist Simone Thomas. And if any of you watched the AFC Championship tonight, you know it was a good game. And now we know who's going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, Chiefs and Eagles, just like it was 2 years ago. And, you know, Kansas City might have gotten a few calls here or there, but they're a really good team. They're on their way to the Super Bowl again.
I predicted they'd take the W.
Yeah,
I know the newsroom was against me on that.
Yeah, some people in the newsroom were cheering for the Bills, you know.
Some people are a little hurt tonight.
Yeah.
Anyway, before we get into an argument, let's talk about the weather, shall we?
Well, I say we're all winners tomorrow because we got some sunshine in the forecast, a great start to the work week. Here's a look at the last of that rain kind of moving out of the state following that cold front that moved through today. So today was cooler than what we saw yesterday, but we get back into the 50s tomorrow. We'll continue to see the clouds overnight. We'll start to shake the clouds by late morning, so through the rest of tomorrow afternoon, lots of sunshine expected with highs in the lower to some middle 50s. Further south in the state could even see a few upper 50s, but generally right around what we consider average for the end of January. Now, we've got some active weather shaping up for the second half of your work week. More details coming up in that 11-day outlook.
Happening right now, Jefferson County leaders have another meeting set for Monday evening. It comes 3 weeks into a budget stalemate that has left county workers without a paycheck. THV 11's Maya Ellison gives us a look at the timeline since this began and some new developments ahead of Monday's meeting.
Brooke, frustrations continue to grow with each passing day, leading District 11 Quorum Court Judge Danny Holcomb to resign from his position. In a statement released earlier this evening, he mentioned how the recent events have, quote, adversely affected my health and have caused me great concern about the safety and security of my family.
And who is responsible constitutionally for the budgets?
The Quorum Court that has the duty to appropriate money in the county.
13 days. That's how long it's been as Jefferson County Quorum Court officials work to pass the 2025 budget. Members of the community and county officials have since gotten involved in the conversation, sitting through hour-long meetings just to be aware of what's going on inside these doors.
I will consider having another meeting, but if it is to try to pass another illegal budget, if it is to pass something that has already been deemed illegal, something that I have vetoed, no.
But as they wait for the passage of this year's budget, there's much more at stake.
I don't want to see anyone lose their job. I don't want to see anyone don't get paid. Because if you work, you need to get paid. Just as simple as that.
A government shutdown has taken place, leaving Quorum Court officials frustrated as they are left without their paychecks. Multiple departments are in need of an approved budget, such as the sheriff's office and more.
People to work 911. It's hard to find people to come out in the snow. It's hard to find people to work on holidays and leave their children. And we got to come here, all this nonsense. I am pissed.
And county officials are not just frustrated, but also concerned.
The proposed budget by Gerald Robinson includes a $25,000 pay cut for me personally. Like many of my colleagues, I simply couldn't afford to stay in a job that I love if this cut goes through.
Judge Robinson also told me that he has also received forms of threats as well. We have not learned from Judge Robinson on whether or not tomorrow's meeting will take place or not due to Judge Holcomb's resignation. We'll have more developments tomorrow, and you can even visit thv11.com for additional information.
All right, thank you, Maya. Developing right now, Pine Bluff police are investigating a deadly shooting that happened this morning. Earlier today, police arrested Lamarion White in connection to the deadly shooting. According to officials, it happened near the West End Pool Hall. While responding to the scene, officers were told by callers that someone had been shot. When police arrived, they found 21-year-old Corterius Williams lying on the street with gunshot wounds. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Anyone with information is urged to contact the Pine Bluff Police Department. In a THV 11 update, a suspect is now behind bars in connection to a deadly shooting that happened earlier this week. Little Rock police arrested Raheem Muhammad Saturday, and he's now facing capital murder charges in connection to this homicide. Earlier this week, police were called out to a tire shop on Asher Avenue. Once officers arrived at the scene, they found a man identified as 45-year-old Jarek Holden suffering from several gunshot wounds. The investigation is still ongoing. New at 10, Arkansas Senator Tom Cotton believes President Trump should rethink his decision to remove security details from 3 former senior national security officials. The Senate Intelligence Committee mentioned that the protection is not just for them, but also for the public. Cotton said a president needs to keep qualified individuals interested in serving the White House, and that may sometimes require enhanced security for officials. Cotton also suggested that Trump's decision to remove their security protection could have a chilling effect on the president's ability to hire the most qualified advisors in the future. President Trump vowed to unleash retaliatory measures, including trade tariffs and visa restrictions on Colombian government officials and their immediate family members. That's after the South American country rejected 2 flights carrying undocumented immigrants back from the U.S. Christian Benavides has the latest, as Colombia's president now says he has ordered a 25% tariff on U.S. imports in retaliation.
President Trump says he is ordering visa restrictions and stiff trade tariffs on Colombia, which supplies the U.S. with much of its coffee and flowers. On social media, Secretary of State Marco Rubio wrote that Colombian President Gustavo Petro had authorized flights but then canceled them when the planes were in the air. In a defiant response, the Colombian leader wrote, quote, "Your blockade does not scare me." Deportations from the U.S. will ramp up in the days ahead, according to Trump's border czar, Tom Homan.
You're going to see the numbers steadily increase, the number of arrests nationwide as we open up the aperture. Right now it's concentrating public safety threats, national security threats.
On Face the Nation, Vice President J.D. Vance was asked if he supports the idea of conducting raids at schools or houses of worship, a move sharply criticized by the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops.
We are going to enforce immigration law. We're going to protect the American people.
As President Trump prepares for the second week of his second term in the White House, he's set to meet with congressional Republicans at their annual retreat being held at his Doral Resort here in Miami.
This week on Capitol Hill, senators will grill some of the president's nominees for key positions. They include Secretary of Health and Human Services nominee Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Trump's pick for FBI Director Kash Patel, and his choice for National Intelligence Director Tulsi Gabbard. Christian Benavides, CBS News, Miami.
Meanwhile, back here at home, there's an eyesore in a high-profile part of Little Rock that city leaders want torn down. It's a boarded-up gas station on Markham, across the street from Park Plaza Mall. It's covered in graffiti, as you see there, and for more than a year, it has sat untouched, despite the building's owner filing plans with the city to renovate it as a Circle K. But according to the city, construction was supposed to start last May and still hasn't.
We hope that in the very near future that it will get finally resolved and we can either look at a blank, clean, vacant lot, or we can get a new nice development in that space.
With no sign of construction, members of the city board plan to restart the condemnation process. We reached out to the gas station owner but have not heard back. Right now, the Little Rock Fire Department is investigating the cause of a fire on Asher Avenue near South Elm Street. According to officials, they received a call regarding smoke and flames in the area just before 5 Friday morning. Upon arrival, firefighters found a group of unhoused people running out of the vacant building. It used to be the business Pro Window and Door. The fire took about 2 hours to put out and no injuries were reported. The Senate is expected to hold hearings Wednesday with Robert F. Kennedy Jr., President Trump's nominee, to lead the Department of Health and Human Services. There will be questions about his views on vaccines and drug companies, and also raw milk. Milk fresh from a dairy cow that doesn't undergo pasteurization is highly restricted in Arkansas, but it's also growing in demand for its perceived nutritional benefits. In this state, you can only buy it at the farm where the cows produce it, but there's an effort to take that restriction out. It has food safety experts worried, while raw milk advocates say they want to meet the demand.
Yeah. So from a public health perspective, this genuinely keeps me awake at night.
When people experience it, it's going to be life-changing.
So how can such a boring beverage arouse such passion? Join us tomorrow night for the story of scared experts and skeptical advocates. Rolly Hoyt breaks it all down for us on THV 11 News at 10. New smartphones are hitting the market and promising more artificial intelligence. But do consumers want it? We're taking a closer look at what phones are now capable of.
A quiet and sunny Monday is in store with temperatures near average for this time of year. We've got more rain on the way, although all of those details are coming up after the break.